Howdy folks, I've got a bit of a Postie call video today. Some bits and pieces that have been amassing in my sort of pile of parcel shame to the side. I haven't actually unwrapped anything properly really. I've had a peek, let's put it at that, and I've just sliced a few things open. Off to the side here I've opened these up, just supplies. Vallejo Silver Grey and Black. Now, probably the two paints I go through the most. Silver Grey is a really nice base coat for white. It's really off-white, it's got a lot of grey in it, but it's not dark grey, of course very, very light grey. So a really nice base coat for white, and you can just gradually add in then, I would add ivory. Tend not to use white at all really. I do have an off-white, that's I suppose the same sort of idea, you know. Off-white's it's actually got somewhere in between, it's in between silver grey and ivory, so again that could be a nice little one to use. I think the best thing to do with painting white is just practice, lots of practice. Two more matte blacks. With black I don't mind if it's Vallejo or not, so I've just gone with Army Painter. You can thin that down quite nicely with a drop of Flow Improver, and that does the trick. And cheap and cheerful, I think that one's £1 cheaper, so that's the only Army Painter paint I'll use other than the washes really. Dark tone then, still one that I like to use. I've also bought that, I'm not sure if I've shown that in a different video, but that's Vallejo's Black Wash, so I've yet to try that. And I've bought their gold as well recently. I think I mentioned that in my last video, so just keeping up the paint supplies. MDF bases then, these are for command and artillery, so some larger bases really, nothing small there. Again, they're not from War Bases, they're from a similar company on eBay who does someone who does laser cutting. You'll have to forgive me if the video cuts off. I don't have much battery left, I've neglected to charge it up again. What I wanted to show you today, the proper parcel I suppose would be Polish line light horse lancers. So those have arrived safely, and I'm not going to paint them up in the dark blue and yellow facings. I'm going to paint them up as red lancers. They've got the right headgear, uniform is so close as makes no matter really. And yeah, really looking forward to doing those. Probably mid next week I'll have a proper go at those. I've also had a eBay purchase. Foundry's, what are they called now? Gallic Allied Cavalry. So probably Caesarian allies, and these are really nice figures. Don't know if I can show you some of these. Horses are nice, there's 6 of those. Foundry sculpts are really nice. I think they harken back to like a classical age of, yeah, like the Perry twins used to do the a lot of the Foundry figures, and I really like the sort of chunky older style. And then I really like the newer Perry stuff as well. But for some things I kind of like the old style. Like I think my ancient Romans and Celts, I think I'll probably stick with a lot of Foundry, and I think the plastics are Warlord games, but again those are a bit more of a sort of, not cartoonish, but a bit more of a sort of classical miniature style. They're not particularly realistic looking, and there's nothing wrong with that really. So 2 packs of those, and then the piece de resistance, and at great expense, but I thought it was a bargain at the time. If the battery holds up, fingers crossed. Pile of AB figures. Now these are from Eureka Miniatures in the UK. You might want to have a look at them if you're still in the UK. They're still open, I believe. And these were shipped out in about a week or 2. They're actually a load of 20mm Soviets, and then they're much famed 18mm stuff. I've got 18mm Pavlov Grenadiers. These are usually quite dear, these AB figures, but again they're closing in the UK now and they're selling off their stock. I think Eureka Miniatures was their reseller, and they're closing. These are then the Russian cuirassiers then. So about half of this purchase is World War II 20mm stuff, and then there's a command there for the Russian cuirassiers, and lots more Soviets then. A lot of them they were sold in sections, and these ones are all leaning down and prone positions, which I really liked. So that would be to expand my 20mm collection when I get round to it. I think these are a bit of a purchase for the stash really. I'm not going to make an immediate start on them, but they're something that I want to get round to. Said every wargamer ever and never got round to it, but yeah, definitely going to get round to these sometime. Painting is on hold for a few days. Just have to finish an essay, then back to it then. Back to the painting. Commission's going to be full whack. I haven't quite finished my course yet, but it's there's not too much pressure. It's quite comfy, and well, yeah, crack on with things. Surprised that the battery held out for so long. Hope you're all keeping sane, folks. Keep painting. You know what other tips I can give? Maybe music is really important to me, and reading. So whatever sort of relaxes you, I suppose, and keeps you sane. Yeah, keep drinking plenty of tea and coffee, and nice spirits, and I'm sure we'll get through this absolutely fine. Okay, all the best, folks. Ta-ra.